Hi everyone, welcome to the class. Haloalkenes and haloarenes, class number 9. If you have missed watching the previous classes, please do find in the description. All the remaining videos link will be shared there. So try to update with the class by checking with the videos. In our last class, we were discussing with the chemical properties of haloarenes. We have seen the nucleophilic substitution reactions, why the rate of reactivity for haloarenes towards the nucleophilic substitution reaction is very slow. We have seen that. In the present class, we'll try to consider with the last chemical reactivity of the haloarenes. It is which are the special reactions. We'll try to observe that. The third chemical reactivity, it is reaction with metals. So as we discussed earlier in the synopsis from our previous video, so we'll recollect. So we have two important named reactions under the reaction with metal. It is with sodium metal. We have Wurtz-Fittig reaction. It's Wurtz-Fittig reaction. And the second one, it is Fittig reaction. Both are very important named reactions of haloalkanes and haloarenes. So Wurtz-Fittig, it is between the haloalkane and haloarene, whereas a Fittig reaction between the two haloarenes. So the related simple information, so you can recollect. So what we learned earlier in the chemical reactivity of haloalkanes, it is the Wurtz reaction. It's a continuation of that. I will try to observe both the reactions in detail, so how we can relate. Now first we'll observe it. I will try to observe with the chemical reactivity of the haloarene. So with the first one, Wurtz-Fittig reaction. Now the Wurtz-Fittig reaction explains the reaction with the sodium metal. It is a reaction with sodium metal in presence of the dry ether medium. So the reaction takes place in presence of the dry ether medium, so with sodium metal. Now the main reactants to distinguish the named reaction as, so the reaction takes place between the haloalkane and the haloarene. One haloalkane and one haloarene. So in presence of sodium metal, so we'll give a respective alkyl aryl compound as a product. So that alkyl aryl compound which is obtained is the important significance of the Wurtz-Fittig reaction. We are going to get alkyl aryl compound as a product. You can easily recollect the previous Wurtz reaction where the two haloalkanes, that is 2 moles of haloalkanes, reacts with sodium metal to give a product which is having double the number of the alkyl carbons, so when compared to the reactant used there. So which will leads to a hydrocarbon there in the previous case of Woods reaction. Now in the Woods-Fittig reaction, what we are observing here, so an alkyl and aryl group of the haloalkane and haloarine gets bonded, so whereby the sodium metal will remove the halogen present in the compound to give a special compound called alkyl aryl compound. Now this will be more clear if you observe with a general equation. Now we know that haloalkanes are represented by the general formula Rx. It is treated with the sodium metal, and the reaction between the aryl halide. So I'm representing R dash X as haloarines in this way, just to show the removal, which will be helpful in remembering the equation. Now, if you observe, if it is treated in presence of dry ether medium, so whatever the sodium used in the process, so is going to react with the halogen present here and will remove in the form of the sodium halide. And R and R dash groups, so they get bonded to give the product as R R dash. So that is our differentiation one, so which is called as the alkyl aryl compound with 2NaX. Just to differentiate, I have shown here. So now this is the alkyl halide what we have used, and R dash X represents the aryl halide or haloarine, which in presence of dry ether medium will give the product as alkyl aryl compound. So this is how, so in the Woods-Fittig reaction, we are going to get an alkyl aryl compound. So by making the reaction between an alkyl halide and aryl halide with sodium metal in presence of dry ether. So with the general equation, the explanation carries 2 marks. The condition here, which metal is used, it is sodium metal. So the condition for the reaction, the medium is dry ether medium. Now we'll take this with a simple example. We'll take methyl chloride, it is CH3Cl. So it's treated with the sodium metal with aromatic ring containing compound C6H6 as a benzene ring. So one of the hydrogen is replaced by a halogen. We'll take again chlorobenzene. C6H5Cl represents chlorobenzene. So CH3Cl is methyl chloride, and C6H5Cl is chlorobenzene. Now once these particular methyl chloride and chlorobenzene is treated with sodium metal, so with dry ether, if it is treated with the dry ether, so here the sodium and the halogens of alkyl halide and aryl halide, so will be removed in the form of NaCl. Now the alkyl and aryl group gets bonded here. It is C6H5, the aromatic ring, with CH3 as the alkyl group. We know that C6H5 bonded to CH3 is an important organic compound, aromatic organic compound. So it is toluene. So the question is how toluene is prepared. So we can explain with Wurtz-Fittig reaction. Once an alkyl halide and aryl halide, so that is methyl chloride and chlorobenzene, if it is treated with sodium metal in presence of dry ether, will get toluene as the alkyl aryl compound. So like this, we can take a number of different examples to explain the named reaction. So in the Wurtz reaction, it is between two alkyl halides. So Wurtz-Fittig, the two names here you can relate for one alkyl halide and another aryl halide. Whereas in the Fittig reaction, you can relate both are the aryl halides. That we'll try to observe now in the next information. Now we'll observe with the last named reaction. It is the Fittig reaction. Now, again, it is a similar reaction as that of Wurtz and Wurtz-Fittig reaction. Again, here the reaction takes place with sodium metal in presence of dry ether. But the reaction medium is that the reactants there, that is in the Wurtz reaction, it is alkyl halides. In the Wurtz-Fittig, it is an alkyl halide and aryl halide. Whereas in the case of Fittig reaction, it is aryl halides. It is when aryl halides are treated with sodium metal in presence of dry ether. With the removal of the respective sodium halide, we are going to see that the two arene rings are going to join as aryl-aryl compound, so which is called as biphenyl or diphenyl. The question is, explain the Fittig reaction with example. Directly you can take with two aryl halides treating with sodium metal to show the biphenyl product. Or the question may be asked, how biphenyl is prepared? Explain with equation they may ask. Or what is the name of the reaction in which biphenyl is obtained by treating the haloarenes with sodium metal? Hence, various ways of asking the question you can practice. So if you know the concept, so then answering the questions will be more easier. Now we'll try to observe. So the Fittig reaction directly will take the example equation. So we'll take a chlorobenzene. Instead of writing the chlorobenzene again, I will write it is 2 moles of chlorobenzene. Now 2 moles of chlorobenzene is treated with sodium metal in presence of dry ether medium. The sodium will remove the halogen from aryl halide in the form of sodium chloride. I have taken chlorobenzene here, a general example. So you can take any other aryl halide also except the fluorobenzene, where the bond cleavage will be difficult there. You can take chloro or bromobenzene to explain the general equation. Now, so with the removal, so just to show the reactivity, assume that this structure you have written in horizontal way. So whatever the vertical way of the structure which is present here, just assume that you have written in horizontal way, just to show that. So I'm representing the reactants in this way. An alternate way of showing the reactants. It is a 1 chlorobenzene molecule and another chlorobenzene molecule. It is 2 moles of the haloarene will react with 2 moles of the sodium. In the process, you are going to see that the sodium will combine with the halogen and will take away in the form of the respective aryl halide, that is sodium halide. The two arene rings will bonded together to form a biphenyl or diphenyl. So the two carbon atoms, so which were earlier bonded with the halogen, those carbon atoms gets bonded so with the help of a bond now. So now whatever the product forms here, it is referred to as a biphenyl or diphenyl. Biphenyl or diphenyl. Now this is in simple to remember. So from the above reactant view or the below. So whichever is easy for you to practice, so you can follow the method to remember the equation. So Fittig reaction is reaction between the two aryl halides with sodium metal in presence of dry ether to obtain a biphenyl or diphenyl. Now we'll just conclude the three important named reactions. So one from haloalkanes and the other two from haloarenes, just to avoid the confusions. So what we learned now. So it is Wood's reaction from the haloalkanes chemical reactivity. And the second, it is Wood's Fittig reaction. So try to observe the spelling. It is Fittig. Right? Don't write any other alternatives for this. It is Fittig reaction. So majority of the students will write it as fitting reaction. Don't write that. So try to practice it. It is Fittig reaction. And the third one, Fittig reaction. Now, if you observe the three important named reactions, all are with the reaction with sodium metal in presence of the dry ether. So if you take in the Wood's reaction, in the Wood's reaction, the reactants are, it is between alkyl halides. And in the case of the Wood's-Fittig reaction, it is between an alkyl halide and aryl halide. And if we take in the Fittig reaction, it is the reactants are, it is between the aryl halides. So if we take in the Wood's reaction, the reaction takes place between the two alkyl halides, here between one alkyl halide and one aryl halide. And in the case of Fittig reaction, it is between two aryl halides. Now, if we observe the products from this, so in the case we are going to see here, the condition common is the reaction with sodium metal in presence of dry ether. Now, if we observe the products from all, in the case of Wood's reaction, we are going to see the alkyl compound obtained as a hydrocarbon RR, where R represents the alkyl groups. It is a alkane. In this case, we are going to see R dash, that is alkyl aryl compound. In this case, we are going to see the two aromatic rings or joined to form the diphenyl or biphenyl. In this case, it is alkyl aryl compound. In this case, it is alkane obtained with double the number of carbon atoms. when compared to parental alkyl halide used. Now this is in simple. As a comparison, you can relate the three important named reactions. So these two we learned with respect to haloarenes chemical reactivity, whereas Wood's reaction we learned with respect to haloalkenes chemical reactivity. So in the Woods, it is between two alkyl halides. In Wood's fatigue, it is between an alkyl halide and an aryl halide, whereas in the case of fatigue reaction, it is between two aryl halides. So you can remember Wood's reaction between two alkyl halide. In the Wood's fatigue reaction between the alkyl halide and the aryl halide, and in the fatigue reaction, it is between two aryl halides. So this, if you remember clearly, then you will not have any confusion. Try to practice to support with a general equation and an example-based equation. So along with this key summary information. So with this, we completed all the chemical properties of the haloarenes. Now we'll move on to the last concept in the unit, which is polyhalogen compounds. We'll try to observe that now. The last concept, it is the polyhalogen compounds. Now in general, polyhalogen compounds, if a particular compounds having more than one halogen, then the common name polyhalogen it is used. In the previous, that is in the classification when we are discussing, we considered monohalogen compounds, dihalogen compounds, and polyhalogen compounds. Here dihalogen compounds are also regarded as polyhalogen compounds to learn the significance. Majority of these polyhalogen compounds, what we are going to see, they are having wide range of applications that we'll try to discuss with the examples now. So the important polyhalogen compounds what we have in the syllabus. So we'll try to list first, then we'll follow one by one to learn in detail. The first one we have is a dichloromethane. It is CH2Cl2. The second one, it is a trichloromethane. It is CHCl3. And another one, it is a tetrachloromethane. It is CCl4. That is carbon tetrachloride. So all these three are methyl derivatives. So in which 2, 3, and 4 halogen atoms are replacing the respective hydrogens from the methane. It is a dichloromethane, trichloromethane, tetrachloromethane, or carbon tetrachloride. So CHCl3, as we know, the trichloromethane is commonly known as chloroform. We'll try to observe the individual things, so with detailed information. So then we have one more related chloroform like compound, so which is iodoform. It is CHI3. So again, a tri-iodo derivative of methane, hence triiodomethane. It is CHI3, which is called as iodoform. That also we'll try to learn. And a very important polyhalogen compound used as a refrigerant. So as a chemical substance, so which is used in refrigerators, a refrigerant substance, which is also responsible for the major environmental disasters, that is the ozone depletion, is from this chemical, so which is freons. We'll try to learn with an example of freon. Then the last, so a well-known insecticide, it is the DDT, dichloro-diphenyl trichloromethane. That we'll try to observe now. It's a very simple one. It is dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane, very powerful insecticide which was used. So we'll try to observe it. So the application part of all these polyhalogen compounds, and what are the physiological effects from these polyhalogen compounds. And for DDT, we'll try to practice with structure, and wherever it is applicable, we'll try to relate few more important significance as environmental concerns. I will start with the first one. The first polyhalogen compound is CH2Cl2, so which is dichloromethane. So if we observe the structure, so from the methane, the two hydrogen atoms are replaced by the halogen Cl. So it is also known with the common name methylene chloride. So we'll mainly focus on what are the applications of these halogen compounds and what are the physiological effects of these compounds. If we first observe the main applications, so we'll try to list what are the important applications only under our discussions. The main applications of dichloromethane is that, so it is used as a solvent. It is used majorly as a solvent for the metal cleaning and finishing. We are going to observe the usage of this chemical as a solvent used for metal cleaning and finishing purpose. So which will be the major usage? It is used as a propellant in aerosols. Aerosols or colloidal solutions, so which will be considered with respect to the fuel sources in airplanes. So if you observe there, so the propellant compounds used are dichloromethanes. One more important application we can consider. So dichloromethane is also used as a solvent in the manufacture of drugs. About the drugs, so which are the chemical substances? So if it is with medicinal value, so we are going to consider that in detail. So the classification of drugs in our last unit. So it is chemistry in everyday life. So the three main important applications. So for dichloromethane is that it is used as a solvent for metal cleaning and finishing. It is used as a propellant in aerosols, and it is used as a solvent in preparation of drugs. Now, if we observe the physiological effects of this particular chemical substance, if we observe the physiological effects, the lower level of the exposure of this chemical substance will lead to impaired hearing and vision. So if the exposure is for a low level, then the low level exposure of this compound generally, the dichloromethane, trichloromethane, all these are the gaseous compounds, they are highly evaporating. So the exposure for this, the low level, so which leads to impaired hearing and vision. Impaired hearing and vision. So if it is with high level exposure, will leads to nausea and numbness in fingers and toes. If the level of exposure is towards high level, then will cause nausea. So nausea is a condition so of vomiting sensation. Vomiting sensation is referred to as nausea. And numbness, like an itching. So numbness in fingers and toes. So all these may be generally asked for a 1 mark or 2 mark question. So hence try to remember the important use of compound, at least one, and an important physiological effect of the compound. So a direct exposure of the compound may even burn the cornea of the eye. So can also be considered as the physiological effect. So that's all with respect to the first one. Now we'll try to learn the second one. So it is trichloromethane, CHCl3, again a very important polyhalogen compound, trichloromethane, so which is commonly known as chloroform. If you observe the structure of the compound, in the methane, the 4 hydrogen atoms in the 3 are replaced by the halogens Cl, trichloromethane. So first, if you concentrate on the simple applications, you would have heard, so it is used as anesthesia in surgery. Hence, a local anesthetic compound can be considered as the major important of this particular chloroform. But due to its poisonous nature, nowadays it is not used. That we'll try to observe. So what happens if the compound is exposed to the oxygen containing atmosphere with a simple equation. So as a poisonous gas phosgene, how it is obtained, we'll try to learn the simple application. So it is used as anesthetic. Then it is used as a solvent for fats, alkaloids, iodine, etc. Then one more very important use or application of the compound is that it is used in the preparation of the Freon refrigerator R22. So what are freons we are going to learn as the next? So which are the chlorofluoro derivatives of methane and ethane. So in that type of the freon refrigerator, so which is R22, a variant of that. So in the preparation of this R22 refrigerator of freon, so this trichloromethane is used as an important reactant. So hence it is mentioned. So what are freons we'll try to learn. So it is the chlorofluoro derivatives of methane and ethane. So used in refrigerators. Now if you observe the physiological effects of the compound, this compound is generally an eye irritant. So low exposure will generally causes headache and fatigue. A low exposure, generally the low exposure ranges in 900 picometers, that is parts per million. 900 parts per million. We know that what is parts per million from the solutions unit, the expression of concentration terms. So million, if it is related, the total number of components in terms of millions, it is related. That is number of parts of the component divided by total number of parts of all the components into million 10 to the power of 6 will express the value in ppm, parts per million, as the expression unit. So if it is towards the chronic exposure, so it severely damages the liver and kidney. A mild exposure leads to headache and fatigue. A severe exposure will leads to the damage for detoxifying organ, liver and kidneys. So we have an interesting information related to the trichloromethane, a chloroform. So this compound, the chloroform CHCl3, is slowly oxidized with the oxygen present in the atmospheric air in presence of light. In presence of light, slowly the oxygen of the air will react with the chloroform to give a poisonous compound, which is COCl2, which is called as phosgene, which is a poisonous compound obtained when the chloroform reacts with the oxygen of the air. So the reaction takes place in presence of light. So just to balance, so we can consider, so two oxygens to balance will take 2 COCl2, hence it is 2 moles of chloroform, 2 CHCl3. So to balance here, it is 2 moles of HCl. So hence practice mainly CHCl3 and the formula of phosgene, it is COCl2. It is a carbon which is bonded with oxygen and with Cl. It is COCl2 is a phosgene which is obtained as a poisonous compound. So will be a very important 1 mark as well as 2 mark question. So why the chloroform, which is not used nowadays as the anesthetic in surgery, is that so this compound will combine with the oxygen of the air in presence of light to lead an important poisonous compound called as phosgene. Hence, the usage of this compound is not observed in nowadays. So that you can remember with the help of this equation, what is the adverse effect of the compound? What happens to that if it is reacting with oxygen of the air? Hope this is clear. I will try to learn with the next one. It is CCl4 carbon tetrachloride. So again, carbon tetrachloride is a very important organic solvent used, CCl4, where the 4 hydrogens of methane are replaced by the Cl chlorine atoms. If you observe the important applications of this compound, it is used as an industrial solvent for the manufacture of pharmaceuticals, that is preparation of many drugs. It is used in dry cleaning. The chemical used for dry cleaning is CCl4 carbon tetrachloride, and it is thermally stable. As a result of its thermal stability, the compound is used in fire extinguishers. So this property is due to its thermal stability. As a compound is highly stable for very extreme temperatures, so it is used in fire extinguishers. So in the trade name called pyrene. Pyrene is the trade name or as a fire extinguisher. Now, if you observe the simple physiological effects, the adverse effect of the compound, so the exposure for the compound will generally causes the nausea, vomiting sensation, the dizziness, and sometimes vomiting. It will also causes a permanent damage to the nerve cells, and it is one of the compound which is also responsible for ozone depletion. Carbon tetrachloride is also responsible for the ozone depletion. We'll learn with one more derivative of methane, which is CHI3, which is commonly known as iodoform or triiodomethane, in which the three hydrogen atoms of the methane are substituted by iodine. The important use and application of this compound is that it is used as an antiseptic. So antiseptics are those chemicals which are applied on living objects, and on the living objects they are exhibiting antimicrobial property. That is, they will either kill or arrest the growth of the microorganism. Sense. So the main application of the triiodomethane iodoform is that so it is like tincture, the compound is used. So it is used as antiseptic. Antiseptics are those chemical substances so which are antimicrobial agents applied on living objects. So about this in detail we are learning in chemistry in everyday life. So from our last unit of chemistry. So how the compound will exhibit antiseptic property may be asked. So if it is considered, so if this chemical comes in contact with skin, when the compound is coming in contact with skin, it liberates iodine. That liberation of iodine is responsible for the compound to exhibit antiseptic property. We'll learn with the next one, which is very important, one mark question generally asked. So freons, so which are the chemicals? So freons are generally defined as the chlorofluoro derivatives. The chlorofluoro derivatives. This both chlorine and fluorine containing derivatives of the methane and ethane. The chlorofluoro derivatives of methane and ethane are called as freons. So one of the important freon, we'll take it as example and we'll learn. So its uses. So it is a methane derivative in which two hydrogens are replaced by fluorine and two hydrogens are replaced by chlorine. So represented by the formula CCl2F2. So two hydrogens by Cl, two hydrogens by fluorine, CCl2F2. So this compound is an important example of freon, so which is freon 12. Difluorodichloromethane, so is called as a freon 12. As an important refrigerant, it is used, the uses if we relate, it is used as a refrigerant, and it is also used as a propellant. It is used as a propellant in aerosol. The main drawback or the physiological effect of the compound is that as it is said, the refrigerants or the chemicals, so which are not generally degraded, and they remain in the atmosphere for a longer time, and they reaches to the upper atmosphere where it interacts with the ozone and responsible for ozone depletion. Hence, so the main effect is that so it depletes the ozone layer. We learn with the last important polyhalogen compound, so DDT, so which is dichlorodiphenyl. It is dichlorodiphenyl trichloro. It is a ethane derivative, ethane. The structure is very easy to remember. So with the root word name ethane, you can write it first. It is 2 carbon atoms. So with the name, what you have remembered, so you can complete the structure. So trichloroethane, to one of the carbon, you try to write the 3Cl, will make it as trichloro. Then dichlorodiphenyl. So first you can write 2 phenyl rings, the benzene rings attached to the another carbon will make diphenyl. Dichlorodiphenyl, that is 2 phenyl groups are attached in turn by the halogen Cl. So that gives the name dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. The other satisfying valency for this carbon, a tetravalency, you can write it with hydrogen. So this is in simple how to practice the structure of DDT. It is dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. First write the 2 carbon atoms of the ethane. So surround all the carbon atoms with single bonds. Then to one of the carbon, the trichloro, you write 3 chlorine atoms. Then you write diphenyl, 2 phenyl rings for another carbon. As it is dichloro, try to write at para position, that is carbon linked to carbon's opposite side, the Cl atoms, and complete the tetravalency of the other carbon by writing the hydrogen. Now, if you observe DDT, so which was effectively used insecticide during World War. So the compound was discovered by the scientist Paul Muller. Is a scientist who discovered DDT. And if we consider the main uses, so this was used as effective insecticide. So which was used to protect the sugarcane and fodder crops from the insects. It also helps to kill mosquitoes in eradicating malaria, the spreading of malaria to consider. So again, it was used. But nowadays, the usage of DDT is restricted. The reason is that so this compound is not easily biodegradable. It is a non-biodegradable compound, and it is not metabolized by animals. So hence it deposits in the fat storing tissues, so that is livers and adipose tissue as a result. So it is responsible for deposition in the form of the fatty tissues. So it is known biodegradable, and it is stored in the fat storing sites and is responsible for fatty tissues. So these are the adverse effects from the polyhalogen compound dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. So with this, we completed all the concepts from the NCERT-based syllabus for the unit haloalkanes and haloarenes. With this, we have completed all. We'll try to complete the question bank revision in our next video. Thank you.